Blessed be he, creator eternal, master forever, who created all things and did all things well. We want to give praise to the Most High this day because he is the all-sufficient King, and he's made you and me in his image. And for that, we are made glad, and I'm so thankful that you're here. I'm honored that you tuned in today for me, just to bless you. I speak blessings over you. Now remember, I have to say this over again. I'm not a doctor, but I trust in the one who is the doctor of all, the master and creator of all. I'm not a doctor, I just know what's good, and because I know what's good, I want to share that with you, my heart, and I bless the Father for you. Today we're going to talk about time tea. I was just telling my baby today, we're going to get on that hair part in a few minutes, but we're going to talk about time tea and all the benefits. Do you know, first of all, and I'm not going to be here long with you today, but did you know they used to use time in the ancients? Time in the ancient days. Time tea, they knew about time in the ancients, and they used it for coughs. You know, and I will tell you what they used it for in those days. But it was so phenomenal that when my research and my studies that I found out, I thought they used, of course they used it because, when Queen Sheba, and I'm just going to say this, when Queen Sheba went to King David in the Bible, and it's talked about how when she went, she wanted to see all these things that they were talking about. Was it really true? So in this very short scenario, as she went to see the king, she brought all these things. It took her almost a year to get there. But can you imagine this entourage with all of these different spices and herbs and different things that she carried during that time? And it was saying that she not only had the spice, but she had the balms. And we're going to be talking about that one day soon. It's the balms. Remember the scripture says that he is the balm of Gilead? I think there was someone that sang that song, he is the balm of Gilead. And so I want to encourage you guys, these different herbs and spices and balms and different things that we're learning about, these are nothing new. These are just something we're coming back to. Amen? So here's the thing. They used these in the ancient days. What's going on, guys? They can't hear me?
It's not acting correct.
Okay.
It's like it streams you and then it's like it cut it off on its own. Huh? It's okay. They just say off the air. I must have lost it in this signal. So pretty much all that you just put out there, I got none of that on the live stream, but I got it on the camera. So any errors I have on the live stream.
Okay, just continue on.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, baby. So in this, they talked about it was an antibacterial. Not only is it good for coughs and colds, it is good. It's an antibacterial, antifungal. So when you're getting rid of coughs and colds, I think we gave that to the team today as the elders were teaching today. We left a little bit of that time tea for them to taste. And they were like, this is good. So if I get the thumbs up with them, I'm perfect. I'm thankful. Thank you, Creator. So it's good for wounds. It's good for your heart. It's good for digestion. It's good for your kidneys and your mood. I'll give you an example. This past week, I gave some to my mister. And he was like, he was kind of under the weather because the weather's changing back and forth. And he had that little thing going on his throat. And which gave me an idea to bring time tea to the family because I knew if he's dealing with it, then the family's dealing with it. So, and then he had little things going on in his muscles and his cramps, and he was like, oh, my muscles, and he doesn't really talk about it. But anyway, so we just gave him a little bit of time tea just to help out a little bit. But this time tea is good for muscles, it's good for acne. If you're having issues, my baby's using some things and it's looking good for her skin, praise Yah, and make me proud. And so that it's good for acne. Can you believe you could take some time tea? What you want to do, you want to take the boiling water, distilled water preferably, boil some water. As it boils, turn it off and put the thyme in it. You know, I remember I showed you guys, if you look back in the God Warriors 298, and you notice that the little bitty flowering, those are the thyme, and you put that in there. You can use it dry or you can use it fresh. We prefer fresh. But, however, put it in the boiling water and let it sit for about until it cools off. And when it's cool, you can use it on your face. Just rinse your face over in the bowl. Just keep rinsing your face, put it on a towel, and just go over your face. You know what? Someone mentioned this week that they had a little virus or a little sty growing up on the eye this week. And what you could do, you could take that and with the thyme that you made out of a tea, you could take that and put it on a towel. When you put it on a towel, you can leave it on your face. Just set it for about a couple minutes. But when you use the thyme for the eye, make sure it's warm as you can handle it. And you can use a very clean towel, a sterile towel, and the distilled water. When you boil, make sure you use distilled water, and you put that on your eye and you just let it sit. And very soon it'll draw some of the bacteria and out of the eye. And also because it has vitamin A, it's going to do a lot of benefits. And we shared some other things which you can do with your eye as far as cleaning your eyes with Himalayan salt. And so we shared about that. But it's not only that, you could take that thyme tea like we were just talking about, and it makes your hair smell so good, family. If you take the time, and as a matter of fact, I was telling the baby that I did it today when preparing for class. Didn't have time to wash it, but it was a rinse. And what you do with this rinse, and because of the antibacterial, antifungal, and it cleanses really well, when you just lean your head over, as a matter of fact, take that warm, or either you could use cold, the thyme tea, and lean it over your head in the bowl, or as you're in a tub, and you can lean it over and just continue, get a big bowl, because you're going to rinse it over, go over and over again, and you rinse it, and you rinse it in that. And my baby said that the hair felt so good, and it makes your scalp feel good. And not only it gets rid of dandruff. Thyme tea helps if you rinse your hair in it. It gets rid of dandruff because it's getting rid of the bacteria. It gets rid of dandruff and sore scalp. So it could help you in that manner. And then it's a moisturizer on top of that. So this is thyme tea. Thyme, just the herb thyme. So when Queen Sheba was going through that girl was bringing that thyme in, those different herbs, those thymes, and rinsing the hair with the thyme and all of that. It was awesome. I'm loving it. Not only does it good, but it's also, let me tell you this, it's also for hair thinning. So if you're having issues, ladies, with the thinning of your hair and you want it a little bit more thicker and you're dealing with the thickness around the edges and around your hair, use that rinse, that thyme tea rinse, and just rinse your hair in it and just rinse it, and you'll be amazed how it thickens the hair up, how it makes it thick, and the more you use it, and it's an awesome treatment, hair treatment. So it works for the skin. It works for the skin, for the hair, and when you drink it, it has all that vitamin A and B, all those different herbs, and it gets rid of the colds and bacteria. Tobias, you want some of that thyme tea before we leave. Drink some of that thyme tea, baby love.
I just had a little bit of smell.
Get you some thyme tea, love. And then you can drink some of that. And guess what? I mentioned to you that I did, Mr. does the muscle. It's good for muscle cramps. So if you're working outside or you're coming in and you just say, especially during the summer, and you say, I still got some time left, but my muscles are hurting and I'm in pain. Women for cramps during that time of the month, you can drink thyme tea. Also, you know that fennel, don't forget your fennel, ladies, but your thyme tea, you can drink some thyme tea, and that thyme tea is good for cramps, and it gets rid of leg cramps, any type of cramps in your body, good for male and female. And so not only is that, it's good for your bones and blood pressure. And it's good for that. This is what thyme does. Thyme tea does for the body. It's so phenomenal for us today. You know, I want to get off on one simple thing real quick. We were talking about, I'm going to come back to the time, but I was listening to the class, and I was listening to how Brother Daniel was talking about the different things that are good for and he was saying in the scriptures, and they were saying different things for the body so I want to tell you this real quickly, family. We made, I made some oatmeal cookies, and you know, I'm not much, did you get any?
No, I didn't.
Here's some up here in case you want some.
I didn't.
And I made some oatmeal cookies. And it's oatmeal, raisins, and I put dates in it. So you have dates. When they brought the dates, you're gonna show them what it looks like a little bit. And this is dates. Dates, raisins, oatmeal, and some maple syrup.
Yep.
Now, I'm sure you can smell. Did you get some oatmeal cookies
I
over
remember
here?
when I tasted them last week.
And so this is not with sugar in it, it has maple syrup. And when you taste it, you think, you might want to come back and get another one if you want to.
All right.
And so with this, it's made with maple syrup and a little bit of honey. And with this, you know what you can actually do? You say, well, now let me tell you about my little in the secrets, what the little secret things. I don't do eggs. You guys know I don't do animal products.
No, right.
Right. So with this is, and you said, well, Emma, how is it that you can do cookies and no eggs? Well, remember I told you guys about the flax seed? Mm-hmm. Flax seed is an egg substitute. And I was going to bring that, but I forgot it. Flax seed next.
Put that in the water.
Yes. And it comes.
Does it makes the water kind of gel?
Gel.
So you use that gel substitute.
You use the gel, yes, and it sticks. And next time I'll show it to you again. I'll remember to bring it because I was going to bring it this morning and show you guys. So it thickens. So what you do, you can thicken it, and you're going to make sure it's ground. Make sure you have ground, and then when you put the maple in it, and you put your other ingredients in it and beat it. It will come to the consistency of like caramel. It'll look like caramel.
The flaxseed?
The flaxseed will look like caramel. And it gives you that same, but it's better than the eggs because you know what they're doing to the eggs today. They're sending them over outside the country to be processed and then send it back, and you know that. So instead of going through all that little crazy stuff, we just go ahead and use the grain that we know what's good. I love. And so use the flaxseed, and the flaxseed gives you that same consistency as the egg. Now, you know what? Because we don't do white flour either, so this is made from oats. So what you do is take the oats, real old-fashioned oats, and I make a flour out of it. So I put it in a processor and make a flour. Do you want you want a cookie? You want a cookie? Come and get your cookie. And you can make flour. So with the flour, then you're welcome. You take that flour and you knead it in with the oats. Now, all of these ingredients are all natural. And then with the dates, remember the Bible talks about dates and how in Song of Solomon it talks about dates. It talks about raisins. And because this is during that time, family, where you know, you want those bioflavonoids like those grapes, the dried grapes. It's what you want during this time of the season because of the allergy season. And that's another thing that gave me the thought about the raisins for you guys. And so this is actually a natural way of eating, but yet you get the bioflavonoids and everything that you need to fight against the allergies. It's just, and this is no bake rather. Some of them I put in the oven for about, I put in there just to melt it. And you, oh yeah, thank you. And so you put it in there for about 10 minutes, if that much, 8 minutes, I just put it in there just to melt it and then push it down and take it out. And so it's like just to melt the ingredients, meld them in. And that's all it takes.
I know you probably have to let them sit because if you pick them up kind of high like they are, probably fall right apart, right?
Well, with the if you use the oatmeal flour and put in there consistently, and all your ingredients are consistent, then it'll hold its consistency. There was some that I didn't put the consistency in it, and but I had to let it sit, and so I did it yesterday and brought it out to let it sit for a while. And what it does, because the flaxseed, let me tell you guys about this, because the flaxseed is so good for you, it's going to use as a mucilage and help you with your digestive system. So it's going to help go to the potty really consistent. Often. The oats, high in fiber. High in fiber.
He's been listening.
He's been listening. I love it.
Things that are high fiber make it go like apples.
That's right.
Apple juice, you'll be going to the bathroom in 10 minutes.
That's exactly
Well,
it.
depending on the individual.
That's exactly. And so last time I snuck a little apples in there for you guys on the last batch. So I didn't put any apples in there this time, and I apologize for that. So sometimes you can chop your apples up in there, and you can mix it in, and it has apples, so you have your fiber. And this is gonna give you that high fiber, so you can still go to the potty. Also, ladies, if you're looking for something that you're saying, but my baby, when they go to sleep at night and they're getting back up and they're mucousy, make sure before they go to bed, they can do, well, time is gonna wake them up. So remember, don't take time and don't give your babies time right before bed, because it would keep them alert. It would make sure. So don't do the time before you go to bed. Do the time in the morning or during the day where you want something to just, that's a nice drink, it's a nice tea. It's going to help build your body up, not tear it down right on down the line, okay? So you're gonna make sure of that, and that's for the allergy seasons. And if you're going to go to bed during the night and you say, what can I use for the babies to go to bed at night, but yet they won't wake up and be mucousy? And that's chamomile tea. Make sure I sent something out on God's Warriors. Thank to Brother Tobias. I sent help the mama out. Help the mama out. I thank you, baby. And send that chamomile tea out. That chamomile will relax the body. It gets rid of pains. It gets rid of it's the muscles. It helps with all of that. It helps with the muscles and everything. And it helps you allow you for sleep. And that's another thing. Ladies, if you really want to sleep late at night, we want to make sure that you have your chamomile tea. You can do that as well. Make sure that when you go to bed, ladies, also sour tart cherry will help you during this time of that month. So it helps flow, it helps everything proceed on, and I love that particular thing. Ladies, also remember that cinnamon tea. Cinnamon tea is an antibacterial, antifungal. It will help you. I was talking to Brother Levi a couple weeks ago on TV, not TV, but on the radio, and he said, don't forget the cinnamon. You need that cinnamon. And I thought, yes, I'm drinking some right now. Shouts out to Brother Levi, my elder. And so cinnamon tea is really phenomenal that you want to continue up for this time of the year, this type of seasonal allergies. Family, that cinnamon tea mixed with a little bit of clove, you can do that for the allergies, and it is fantastic for the body during this season. Excellent for the body during this time of the season, and also, ladies, for us, because it helps with different things. If you're dealing with fibroids or anything like that, it shrinks those things, and it gives you that extra energy that you need. Plus, it helps with weight loss. Oh, I forgot. Thyme tea also helps with weight loss, family. It's going to help with your weight loss as well. Now, let me tell you another thing you can do with thyme tea. You could take that thyme tea and you make sure that before you put anything in it, you could take that thyme and rinse your face with it. And it yes.
Question.
Yes.
Do you have anything for high blood pressure?
High blood pressure. You could use that thyme tea. You can use cinnamon tea. Remember we were talking about the cinnamon tea? What you do is do your cinnamon. I prefer cinnamon leaves. If you can go online and order your cinnamon Ceylon leaves, what they do. But when you do, make sure you order it from, and I'm not trying to sponsor this one or that one, but I don't throw names around and all that kind of thing. But you might want to, when you go for your cinnamon, make sure you get it from Iran or some places in the Middle East, because the reason why I'm saying the Middle East is because they have the leaves. And in the Sahara and different places in the desert, what they usually do, they'll have cinnamon tea in the desert. And that's to keep them having what they call sunburst or sun exhaustion. That's what they normally drink in the desert. It lowers the blood pressure. You won't feel. Yes, even though you're drinking something hot, you're not feeling the heat. And it also cleanses your arteries. It cleanses out, it helps your heart. And the reason why I'm saying this, and it's the Ceylon tea, because the Ceylon tea, it doesn't have that slimy stuff. Once you boil those big leaves that come from other parts of the world, I'm not gonna, well, yeah, I can name them, like Saigon and stuff, places like that. Those are just different places like that. My preference, let me say this to you, my preference would be the Ceylon tea. And it helps, and then if you can put a little bit of that Ceylon powder afterward, a little bit in there in your cup, and mix it in with a little bit of agave or honey, because if you put too much honey will actually has a tendency to raise your blood pressure. So you don't want to do too much honey, but you want to use enough, like a little taste of a sweetness. Some people use stevia, some people use different sweeteners, but my point today is you can do a little bit, and then add, here's one wonderful thing. You can put coconut sugar in there. Put coconut sugar. You can use coconut sugar, and then put the coconut milk. And then, because these are blood pressure agents that help with your blood pressure, keeps your pressure down. And then put a pinch of clove in there, and a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of, vanilla extract. But make sure you have the pure extract, not the flavor, because there's a difference between the flavoring and the extract itself. It would help with your body and that. So,
because I know the extract comes in a liquid form. I know maybe some people will say the bean is probably better.
It's the bean. The bean is the extract. It gets it from that. But the flavor is just like it says, it's artificial.
Gotcha.
Flavor is artificial. The bean itself is, of course, when you get it from the bean, it's the extract. So you want to do it that way. Also, you can use hibiscus. I bring hibiscus here quite a bit for the family. Hibiscus tea is something that you might want to use for your blood pressure, and it keeps everything balanced. Also, lemongrass tea helps with blood pressure. Yes.
Can I get the cinnamon from Walmart, and if I can't get it from overseas?
If you go to Walmart, make sure it's the cinnamon leaves, not just the powder that you get, and you go to the Walmart and you get that. That will, let's just say I don't recommend that. And the reason being because this leaves last longer. It doesn't have the slime. It's the original. It's the real leaves. What they use, what they slice is the cinnamon leaves, where it's so thin, and it's just for the tea. You want the tea itself. You could start with that. Some people have had good thing, but I'm just saying. And then for high blood pressure, you can also use, I think we mentioned once before, or diabetes, or in that issue, parsley. Parsley is phenomenal for you during this time. So you want to eat like your parsley, you want to eat cilantro, you want to make your parsley tea. Remember, we talked about the parsley tea and all the benefits that comes with the parsley tea. You could put a little bit of lemon, and a little bit of lemon or lime, and put just a little sweet, just to say I've got a little sweet. You could use that for cholesterol, high blood pressure, right on down the line, and it works perfectly. And I've seen so many good results from it, even from people that are in Texas. I have some friends that are in Texas, and I was telling them about that, and they've been using it, and it's been perfect. They went back, and within a week's time. And this is just a test, not about me, it's about the Father. This is what He put out there for us. And within a week's time, that issue was totally gone. So I'm just putting that out there for you guys. You might want to look into that. When you eat, make sure that you don't have a lot of processed foods. You want to try to keep away from the processed food, family, because all it is toxins. Stay away from the processed foods. And those things will cause high blood pressure. It will cause cholesterol. It will cause diabetes. It will cause heart issues, because those things cannot pump through our veins and our arteries, and it actually cuts the inside the blood arteries, and it causes issues with that because of the different salts that the processed food has in it.
Right. High in sodium, so they
High in sodium.
That's why they're able to last so long.
That's exactly. And they're preservatives. And so you want to stay away from those things, and you want to make sure that you have those things in your body that are beneficial, like the Creator. You are magnificently and wonderfully created. You are made in His image. So why would you put processed foods and toxins in your body that the Creator made? You want to give all those things that are healthy back into the body. Such as we had talked about cauliflower crust, making that for the pizza, different things like that. You want to make sure these type of things are in your body, and they're body for the good. So the leaves of the field are good for the healing of the nations, and it's a truth and a fact. So if you use those things that the Father, like we said, when we started off saying that when Queen of Sheba, which we know that's not her original name, but for sake of expedition, we want to make sure that, when she brought these things to the king, to King David, she brought all of these spices and herbs and balms and different things, and these were not processed. Our family, our grandmothers and before them, they lived on the herbs of the ground, the fruit of the ground, bearing fruit. The trees of the field are good for the heal. Even the trees, years ago, I know that you guys probably already know this, the maple syrup, let me put this, maple syrup came from a tree. You have to tap the maple tree to get the syrup out. Molasses, you have to tap the tree to get the molasses out. Different saps and syrups that we now know, a lot of people don't know, they came from the tree. So cinnamon, there's the cinnamon tree. Can you believe that? Make me proud. They come from the tree. There's people say, I heard a broadcast, just an infomercial, and they were talking about, they had to do aspirin. Do you know the original aspirin is white willow bark? It's a willow bark. The original aspirin is a willow bark. And so they use this willow bark, and it's better than aspirin because it's natural, and the body uses it, and it's non-addictive. It doesn't have any, but you can't do a whole lot. But at a certain time, you want those things that benefit the body, and these things benefit the body. It talks about when is that man when he was blind, and I know you probably know this, Brother Tobias, you use that sword, and he said that he was blind, but when Yeshua came, he said, touch him, and he says, how do you see? He said, I see men as trees. And he touched them, and he touched them again, and he said, oh, I see them as they are. But he said, first he said, I saw them as trees. These trees, and that's why.
It's that Psalms 1 where he says, a man that pretty much is in the Most High, he'll be like a plant planted by the trees, planted by the rivers of water that bring forth fruit in this season.
In its season,
yes,
that are planted by the rivers of water. Isn't that something? We are compared to His trees. Yes, isn't that awesome? How our Father loves us so much that He compared. See that? So that's what I'm talking about. These things are good for our bodies. Time. Let me go back to time really, really quickly because I think I didn't speak of this. But time is good for the vision. Time will work on your vision, baby. Will give you
better than carrots.
Better than carrots.
Oh, okay.
Yes, even better than carrots. Time, T, is better than carrots. It helps you with seeing better at night. It helps you with different other things. I mean, time, T, is such phenomenal for our bodies. I just want you all to try it. Just try it, family. For your babies, you can even give it to your children. And this is all about thyme tea, and different other things. The flax seed, don't forget the flax seed, which, remember, we do seeds, do beans, remember, just because they're small doesn't mean that they're not healthy for you. The smallest things, the greatest things come in small. Come on. Do you know what? Okay.
Come in small packages. I tell people all the time,
Good
I've never
thing.
seen a big stick of dynamite, but they do a lot of damage.
Come on.
So I just use that as an analogy for small things.
You're right. Small things come in great packages. I love it. And it's true. It's really true.
So you're saying I gotta worry about my height?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Brother Daniel. You got it. You got it, Brother Daniel. See, did you get any of those oatmeal cookies?
Yeah, you know I got it.
No.
You got extra.
So, and you know what? So the oatmeal, when it's powdered, like I said, when you flour the oatmeal and you mix it together with the regular already old-fashioned oats, if you want to give Brother Daniel another cookie, he can have another cookie. Give him 2. As a matter of fact, if you want to give him 2 of them.
I don't know what they mean by this, Iman, but I got a question here. It says, anything to help floaters in vision?
Yeah, give him a couple. I can't do now. Floaters. What you do for floaters, family? Yeah, give him a couple. And what you do is take the floaters. You could, remember we talked about this? I want you to go back in God's Warriors 298. Where we take the Himalayan salt and put in distilled water, but only put like a little bit of cup. Like if you have this much and just this much water, not even that much. And you put a distilled water and you put it to taste, because your eyes have the salt in it. And you ever cried and you tasted your own tears and it's salty? So you want to use that Himalayan salt and to taste in distilled water. And what you do is cup it. You can use one of those shot glasses. Take a shot glass, or you go to Walmart, a place like that, and those particular places you can ask them for an eye wash container, so you can wash your eyes out. And you use that every morning, just like you wash your face, you can wash your eyes with that. And what you do is you're exercising the eye. You going up, down, side, all around, and you could get rid of all that. And guess what? I was telling you guys, if you look at, like I said, God's Warriors 298, and guess what? You can rinse your eyes from there, just like I washed my eyes out today, just like I did for my face when I washed my face in thyme tea, by the way. And wash your face, and you can use the thyme tea over your face, and then you use the Himalayan or sea salt. Make sure it's the pure sea salt, not the toxic stuff that will scratch their cornea. But use it, and then you rinse your eye up, down, exercise your eye muscles. And then guess what? You could actually see a little bit better, because if you look in that glass that you just used, you'll see all the toxins in the bottom of it. That's good for those floaters. Yes.
Question is, what about DMSO for the eyes?
DMSO?
Yeah.
Okay, if you use DMSO, now here's another thing before we go on to the next thing, to the DMSO. Family, when you take this off your eye, you see those little floaters and things at the bottom of it, and you could see those things at the bottom. And then also make sure that when you use your thyme or your different herbs that you're going to put over your eyes, make sure it's warm, so that, and those different things won't dissolve or help aid in the eyes. Now you said DMSO. DMSO is phenomenal. I wouldn't use it in the eye itself. If I'm going to use DMSO, which I have, if I'm going to use DMSO, I'm going to find a spot, and you need half a drop. You want to start with a half a drop and put it on a Q-tip and put it on somewhere on your skin, because DMSO is so powerful. It'll go to the whole body. It's just like MSM. But it's the part, the DMSO, or the atoms, or the better than that. But they don't let you go through the DMSO DMSO because of the power, but they'll use it on animals and different things like that. And so it's so powerful. Like I said, half a drop, and just put it on your wrist or on a part of your body. That DMSO will go through your whole body. If you put like a half a drop or so, within a couple minutes, you can taste it. You'll be able to taste it because it goes through your whole body system. And you can taste it and you'll say, this is what, that was for you guys.
Oh, for just here. Okay.
If you want it, you can take it home.
I take it home?
If you want it.
Okay.
You know what it is, right?
No. Well, no, it's good.
It's a time tea.
Yeah.
You can do it either way. You can leave it here or you can take it home. Okay. So you can put it on there and you can taste it. So, and then it goes straight to the muscles. It aids the body. When we were having little issues at one time in my home, and we were having little issues and with the muscles and things like that, they took it and put it on the body at night, and just like I said, half a drop, and just put it in there, and he was saying that he tasted it, the DMSO. Well, what it did was it went through the whole body and created a healing. And so when he got up in the morning, he didn't have the pain. After a couple days, he had no issues. After about a week or so, no issues. DMSO.
What is that again? DMSO?
DMSO, they use it basically for, they used it years ago in the 50s or the 60s to help people with their bodies and different ailments that they had in their bodies. DMSO is found in when they go to the Holy Lands, and they have the floating where it's all the minerals and everything in the lake, and you can float literally because of all the minerals in the Dead Sea. In the Dead Sea. So that's part of the things that's in there, because they're that minerals where you can float. Well, a lot of people get out of that and they feel wonderful. They feel excellent, just like new people. That's the minerals and everything that's in the Dead Sea. And some of those things that's in there are DMSO, MSM, all of those minerals, because they're minerals that the body needs. Females, when they're going through that time, or either males, when you go men go through menopause and women go through menopause and all that, they've been known to a fact that you could put some on your body and it changes the mood of the person, and it gives them that euphoric feeling, like
the pool of Bethesda.
That's exactly it. Just like the pool of Bethesda. And that's exactly where they got that from, because of all the minerals. Actually, thyme will help you change your mood too. Thyme will help your mood. Thyme will give you that good feeling that everything is feeling that everything is going to be okay. It's like, I can handle it. It gets rid of depression, oppression, anxiety, and stress. Thyme does. Thyme, and I know I've got a few more minutes. Thyme does. So does dill. So does my fennel. Fennel helps with the mood. Fennel is really good for women. So these are just a few things that when they brought in, and how much more time? What time is it? What time is it, baby? Is it time for us to go?
5:39.
Okay, 5:39.
That's 30 right there.
Okay, 5:39. Okay, we have 10 more minutes. Well, a couple more minutes. But here's the thing. I just want you all to know that there are other things other than drugs. You don't have to go to drugs. You could go straight to your pantry and get thyme tea, things like that. Remember I mentioned. Remember I told you that you can take flaxseed after it becomes the mucilage, and you can put it on your edges of your hair. Ladies, it's true. You can put the thyme, but now when you use the flaxseed, make sure you have a little oil in it, like safflower oil, which is really a condensed oil type of oil. And you can put that in the flaxseed, and it will bring your hair back to life. That's what the flaxseed is what they started off on putting, like, when you use that paste, and the women were telling me about, you can use a paste and put it on your hair and slick it back and all that. Well, they started that off with flaxseed, and flaxseed was one, and slippery elm was another. They use slippery elm, and they use flaxseed and slippery elm. So you could do, put that together and make sure that you can put olive oil in there, but a lot of times I use the safflower oil. You can use that and mix that in really well. Some people use castor oil and all that, and they can, for the hair, yes.
Any herbs for strengthening teeth? I've heard fluoride is bad.
Fluoride is horrible. And once it gets into the body, it does so many damages to the body. Yes, you could use fennel, is good for the teeth. Fennel is wonderful for the teeth. You could chew that. There's something called a mishwak stick. And they use it in the other, and next time I'll bring it. I normally keep a piece of, but it's in the car. I think I left it in the car. It's a mishwak stick. Remember, I don't know whether you remember when your parents or your grandparents used to walk around with a stick in their mouth. And they would always have like a little stick.
That's kind of like the licorice root I chew on every now and again. Some people tell me you can chew on them, and then you have some that they use for toothbrushes.
Yes, that mishwak stick is actually the original toothbrush. And what you do when you bite onto it and you go around the edges with it, and as you go around the edges, it'll actually, it'll fray, and you can take that fray part and brush your teeth with it. And it strengthens the teeth, it helps the gums, it helps it just does all that. And it's really, really good for you. And it brightens the teeth back. In other countries like Jamaica, of course, our mother country, they use it, and they would use it, and what they would do, they would use it as a toothbrush, but when they would use it all day, the teeth were so strong, they could actually hang on their teeth, and these are not dentures. They were so strong, the gums were so strong, they would be able to lift themselves up with their teeth. And this is from something like the mishwak stick. And it's only, if you're here in St. Louis, you can go to Soulards. I think down at Soulards, there's a lady that has mishwak sticks. Or either if you can find an Indian place, they have mishwak sticks. There's a place, and if you're in North County, there's a guy down there that's called Cool something, down there in Lindbergh, and he has the mishwak sticks for $1. But you have to bite around the edges and let it be in your mouth for a long time. And it's just almost like a licorice taste, but it has a minted with it. And they call it licorice root. And you can take that licorice root, and your teeth will be, strong, your gums. It helps reverse decay. So to fight that. And you could use that, yes.
What can be used for unexpected episodes of, I think this is a colitis. Colitis. Okay.
Colitis.
Oh, baby, that's like heartburn.
Heartburn.
Yeah.
For heartburn,
I'm saying is that colitis.
Colitis is one that they're having issues with going to their colon, keeping there's an episode where they have doing that, but they also have heartburn and stuff like that. Yeah. You could clean your art, and it's something that we're talking about this, but you can use fennel is another one. You could use, some people use apple cider vinegar, and it helps with that, because it would seem like it's odd that you can use acid for acid. But apple cider vinegar does work. You could use lemon juice. Lemon juice is good, where you can drink it when you're on a consistent, every day you're using. And you know what's really good? Ginger. Ginger is so good for that. And also the flaxseed fennel, because it's going to keep you clean out. Those little bitty seeds that we've been talking about. If you continue to take those, do those seeds, some time to time, I'll give this called senna, S-E-N-N-A, senna, and I know a couple minutes, but senna is good for colitis and things like that. So you can help with heartburn and for the colon, and it keeps the colon clean. But you want to make sure you stay away from white flour, white sugar. You want to cut those things out. Those are actually acid, and it causes those things to eat up your esophagus and your intestines and things like that. White flour, white sugar, processed foods, things like that will really do havoc on the body. You really have to understand those things. Processed foods, get rid of them. Actually, dairy is not good for those that are doing that type of thing. You want to stay away from dairy products. And they said, what other, Brother Tobias?
That was pretty much it. For that question, I had a follow-up question on another topic.
Okay, come on.
Insomnia. The person
Insomnia.
Said issues going to sleep.
Issues. Remember we talked about chamomile.
Yep.
We talked about that this week. We sent out on God's Warriors 298 about chamomile tea. You could use chamomile tea. Now, when you do chamomile tea, it's going to allow you to sleep. It's going to allow you to rest. That chamomile tea. Remember we talked about on this God's Warriors 298, we talked about, here we go again, sour tart cherries. And sour tart cherries not only help with your muscles and all that with the body, but it relaxes the body where you can actually rest.
Chase that gout away.
Chase that gout. Come on.
Yeah.
You're making me look good. You can do that, will help you rest. You can also use, there's so many things out there that help you rest. You can burn, and here, now check this out, I'm not into witchcraft like what Brother Daniel talked about today, but this does work. You could take bay leaves and put it, and you can boil it when it gets to that little green tintage. Then you take it and add a little honey to it, and you can drink that, and it'll help you rest, and it'll actually help you. It's almost like it doesn't make you rest, but it allows you to rest. And then you can burn it while you're drinking on that. Burn you a couple leaves, bay leaves, in the room, and it takes the tension and the stress out. That's what we used to do for our son when we would burn little bay leaves in the room. He said it was a nice little fragrance when he was little. He said, you want that little fragrance? But he's in his 40s now, so I said I wasn't going to do that anymore. But
and like you said, just not to cut you off, that's different from what we're saying. You can't use that to chase Amadeus away. You can only use, like say, to help breathe.
To help breathe.
So we're talking about two different things.
Thank
so,
you.
To chase him out,
right?
You have to have exactly what the rules say to chase him out. So
right.
now it says by no means what you're talking about, just clean living, clean breathing.
Clean breathing.
To change the atmosphere.
And that's exactly what it does. It allows you to rest. And in the atmosphere, because a lot of people don't realize that this time of the year, you're having issues. Like, give me an example. Mr. was saying that, he says, I said, did you clean your sinuses? He says, I don't need it. But yet, here it is. He's getting up in the morning, blowing or hacking all this stuff. I don't need it. This is a man thing. I'm sorry, but.
Well, yeah, because I'll be thinking I'm getting waterboarded. That sinus, that salt water down.
That's what it is.
Well, I feel like you're drowning.
It does feel like you're drowning.
Yeah.
But you're doing it right. You're doing it right because you're cleaning the eyes, you're cleaning the sinuses, you're cleaning the throat out. And that Neomed, which is where you just push it up this side and up the other side, it helps with that. And then on top of that, with the bay leaves that you're doing at night, it pushes those toxins out of the way and it allows you to rest. And you can breathe better because it's for respiratory situations. So you can breathe. But I'll stop right there because I know we have to go. But I just want you to know that this EMA, thank you for taking your time out within your day to bless me with your presence. It was my assistant. I want to thank the Creator for her. My lovely assistants. And I want to praise the Father for you. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And as you begin to obey the ways of the ancients, you'll see that your body will respond in an awesome way. This EMA thinks you're wonderful. I praise Yah for you, and I love you too. Stay healed, stay blessed, stay whole. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you once again for the will of this class needed
Amen.
to heal this dying flesh.
Amen.
Thank you, sister. Stretch it out. I think we get 900 years out of this.
I think we might be able to.
It'll be the most high.
It'll be the most high.